So today I'm finally replacing my AD600, the original one that I have for remote. I always have it in my car. Just it's there because I need it all the time. So it's great to have, but it's getting a little beat up and a little old, really old. It works, but finally I wanted to upgrade. So I'm upgrading with the 400, believe it or not, because I never use that thing at full power. Not even half power, honestly. Now, I always tell everybody, get the 600 if you're going to be shooting a lot of people. Like, if you're using it a lot, you want that battery power. You want it to be lower in power. You don't need to turn it up as much. It'll create, more shots because you're using less power. The 8400 is going to be great for me because I don't shoot a lot of like students and stuff like that anymore. I just use it for jobs. It works great. I never have to worry about the battery. So when the new 8400 Pro version 2 came out, I was right on it because I'm excited about this one. And again, I have the 8400. Yeah, do you need to upgrade? That's what everybody asks me. No, if it works, don't fix it. It's that simple. Honestly, if the light is working for you. So the positive about this, believe it or not, my biggest positive is these little lights on the side, which glow the color of the channel that it's on. Believe me, that is such a big help. I'm sure everything else is great. Just, um, I, if it works, why fix it? From what I understand, I think the color is better on it as well. I'm excited about that part of it. Of course, I'm going to be using the remote head. What's nice about this by the way, always always have a spare if you're doing this professionally, because it's not that these things go quickly. Like the one I have in my remote head is, for the 400 is old, but if it if it drops, if it knocks and something happens to it and you're on a job, you got to have a replacement. So always have a replacement with you. Anyway, so we're going to use this today. I'm using the big softbox. Now, here's the thing. I was going to use the smaller um, softbox for this, which is, the Godox's own. I love that because of the small head. I actually got one in because mine broke almost 2 months ago and I just never replaced it. So I ordered a brand new one from Adorama. They're not expensive. They're on sale for $70. But it was a 33-inch and it came in and it just didn't work. Like it wouldn't stay open. Their lock broke. Now I like Adorama. I've used them for years and years and years. But my issue is this, they're not just in New York anymore. So they're in Kentucky or I don't know, somewhere. But the shipping now, I have to send it back. That's going to take 4 or 5 days. It takes them 3 or 4 days to evaluate it, and then they'll send me another one. So we're looking at almost 2 weeks before I get a replacement for a brand new product that was bad. That just drives me crazy. I don't have to deal with any other company I deal with except for Adorama now. It's I don't know, and I can order products from China and Japan and get them here quicker than I can if I order from Adorama, for standard shipping. You really have to pay for upgraded shipping. Otherwise, they use uh, a mule and a drawn carriage to get it to the post office. It really is that bad anymore, which is a shame, because I do like their Flashpoint line, obviously, with the Godox and their Glow soft boxes. I love them. I think they're great products, but for this kind of situation and the shit you have to deal with, I don't order from them nearly as much as I used to. I tried to avoid them at all costs. But anyway, so that's what we're using today. We're going to get into this. It's a well-made unit. It's impressive. Honestly, I really like this thing. I can't wait to see how it does in use and, see how the recycle is and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we'll be using the 120, the S120T softbox, and it should be a fun shoot. So let's get into the shoot and try this. Again, if yours works, I know Godox doesn't want me to say that, but if it works, why fix it? Like wait until it dies or wait until it's just starting to die, then get a new one. But this one I'm impressed with. I love this form factor over the 600. And like I have Pro Photo, but I can't do a remote head with Pro Photo. And that's what makes this special to me, because this is a sandbag at the bottom of the stand. Remember that. And then you just have your head up here. If this falls over, I can replace this without a problem. This is really expensive to replace. So anyway, let's get to the shoot. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with the extension heads, you literally just take the bulb out of the main unit, put it in the extension head, and then you put the cord in where the bulb was. It's brilliant. I love Godox for this. Since their first lights, I just love this fact that although the weight is down low on my stand now, and the extension is a lot lighter, especially with that large soft box. Now, it's a double diffused large soft box. You can get 460 full power flashes out of this unit with one battery. Here's the thing though, I'm shooting at 1/8 power with this, with a double diffused large softbox in studio, ISO 80, f3.2, turn of a second, 1/8 power. Now, that's impressive. The benefit to this is quicker recycle times. I'm in the thousands as far as how many shots I'm going to get out of a single battery because I'm at 1/8 power. And I didn't have one misfire throughout this shoot. More important than that, I had no color shifts. So this has been improved. Other than the pretty color screen and the little lights that tell me what channel it's on, this thing has improved over the definitely over the original. Like, it's night and day over the original. Godox has come so far. I can honestly say, they used to be an alternative for amateurs or hobbyists. They're now pro lines. Without question, I would not hesitate taking this on a pro job. This is a commercial shoot. These girls needed photos for their business. Please don't ask me what their Instagram or social media is. If they want you to know, I would put it in the description. If they don't want you to know, or don't request it specifically, I don't put it in. So I want to get that out of the way. Now, Godox did send me this light. I'm not going to go through the spiel of my opinions are my own. Here's how I combat that. I send products back to companies if I don't like them, and I don't do a video. It's that simple. I'm not going to show something on this channel that I don't love or would use myself. Now, not all products I will be using. There's a lot of products that I absolutely love that I get rid of because I just have an alternative product that I'm used to using. But if I love the product, I'm still going to show it on my channel. If I don't like it, I'm not. That simple. I wanted to get that out of the way. This shoot, I wanted to make simple. I needed specific shots for them. They had a specific shot type they wanted, and this is it. It's simple. One light. I have the reflector, the V-flat on the right side, camera right, just a little bit of fill, and it's just the one large softbox doing all the work. There's nothing special here, no rocket science. I have it feathered past them just a little bit. I pointed them at it a few times just to get a little bit more shadow on the backdrop, but there was nothing special with this setup. And I know everybody says, how's the TTL? I never use TTL with the big lights. I'm sure it's fine, but I just don't use it. And then people are saying, well, how is the TCM, I think it's called, whatever that is, where you shoot TTL and then switch it over to manual and you have your exposure. Listen, we're using mirrorless cameras. You get instant feedback on your screen. You take the shot, you look at it. If it's too bright, dial down the power. If it's too dark, dial up the power. You don't need any special features to figure that out. Simple shoots like this and simple lighting like this is most of the time all your subject or client will need. It's nice to experiment and have creative lighting. And I wish I could have had creative lighting with this shoot. I would have did a lot more and a lot of different things, but they needed specific shots for their business, and that's what my job is today. Nothing special. They don't want anything special. They needed the backdrop to be this, the posing to be this, the lighting to be that. It was straightforward. So, that's what it is. So don't overthink your shoots all the time, and don't expect to be, this creative genius at every shoot. Sometimes you just have to get the job done per the client's request, and that's what we're doing today. Now, again,
no misfires, no color shifts, and color shifts was my big thing because post-processing was so easy with these. I didn't have to worry about fine-tuning color on their skin, or anything. Now, when I shoot like this, I don't put it in auto white balance. I set my white balance to a specific Kelvin temperature. It was 5,700 Kelvin, um, and it was a touch cool at 57. So I just warmed them in a batch all at once, and that was it. I was, ready to go. I did cropping. I fixed the backdrop on the floor, the wrinkles, because, it's just a piece of cloth. And I'm using the X Drop Pro, and I have two white X Drop Pro backdrops. There's one on the floor and then the X Drop Pro itself. I love the X Drop Pro by Westcott, by the way. If you haven't seen it before, it's fabulous. I got this for location and I haven't taken it out of my studio. So I got another one for location, but it just works. So, I recommend that highly. As far as the upgrade, if you have the Pro, maybe you don't need to upgrade. But for me, the benefits of this Pro version 2, uh, you know, they're impressive to me. So I am happy with this, and I am getting a second one. I'll purchase one myself for my car. Anyway, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'll be glad to answer them.